make a mess just going down the trail one time. It looks like there's a million of them. Yeah, I guess they ripped across the river already. I gotta climb all the way back up. Back indoors again. Man, time flies, doesn't it? Time is flying. If I could encourage anyone to do one thing, it'd be to make sure you do what you love to do. Make sure you do it. You have to do it, because this lifetime, I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today, we're talking about how fast time actually flies for real. And I said to him, he says, "Oh, how's your trip?" And I go, "Well, as soon as we left, you're like hoping for time to slow down." Bam, flick of a finger, back home, trip's gone, it's just a memory, just like that. And I said to him, I go, you imagine passing somebody that's 97 years old down the road, on the side of the road, you pass them by, and you think, I wonder how fast they think that 97 years went by. Pretty freaking quick, right? So, make sure you do what you love to do, no matter what, at least once in a while, because that's why we're here, right? Anyway, lots coming down the pipe, lots of emails. Talked to Edgar today. Heard from him. The news on that coming. It's just time, you guys, all right? Everything's time. Time. Now. Few things. The store. So, this is how it went down with Sarah deciding to take on the t-shirts, hats, hoodies, whatever. She hand-selected, hand-picks to ensure good quality, and she does all of the packaging and labeling and shipping herself for the hats. Crazy, right? And 100% of those people received their items. Now, she did a Google search, what are the top t-shirt places that to get around the shipping. They do the printing, shipping, charging, the whole 9 yards. And Teespring was one of the top 3, I think, suggested. Did her due diligence. What are the chances? I guess Teespring has changed ownership and now they're called Spring or something. Anyway, well, I'll tell you what, I'll share my email. I'll share the email with you that I just sent them, all right? Because the sad thing is that choice of going with them, whatever's happened to them is 100% out of Sarah's control. Nothing she can do about it. Nothing. And I guarantee you I was the first one to order. They got my money. And that was January 9th. I don't have anything. Nothing. So now, poor Sarah is getting basically anger mail every single day from how many people think that she's responsible, which she's not. There's nothing she can do about it. So I'm going to read an email that I sent to them. All right? I'll put it up on the screen. If you don't want to read it, I'll read it aloud while it's on the screen. I said flat out, there's two sellers at teespring.com. The subject title I put, "You are killing my brand." I have an average 7 to 10 million views per month on YouTube, close to 300,000 subscribers, an average of 99.7 approval rating. Buy them on YouTube. We chose your business to print and shop our first items to our following. We are now inundated with hate mail by the hour every day. Why? Because our subscribers are not receiving their goods, although you have taken their money, including mine. I was the first order. You took my money January 9th, 2023. It's now February 17th. I have nothing. Please reply with an explanation ASAP. So there you go. I sent that. And we'll see if they reply, what the reply will be, if I get my stuff. But either way, we're going to terminate the Teespring thing. But I first have to look into it to make sure we can't just gong it. And no, we haven't received a dime from them. Not looking into it. We're looking into whatever's going to happen. Is everyone going to get refunded? Are we going to get refunded? Are we going to seek legal action? Do we go to our credit card company to go after them? I haven't a clue. This is all new to me and it's very unfortunate, and we're all in this together. I understand that there's people overseas that have received their items from them. So I don't know. I don't have a clue. All I know is the dog's patrolling the frickin' chicken coop. She got a hold of a chicken the other day. But anyway, definitely looking into it, waiting to see the reply. I'll share it with you guys, and then I'll let you know what I'm going to do from there on. Or if whatever the hiccup they are having, are they just having some kind of a weird hiccup that they're going to iron out, and then they become one of the top 3 best places to deal with again, or not? Or are they absolute frickin' losers? I don't know. So there you go. Hopefully everyone who's curious just heard my little spiel. So what did Sarah did the other day? She actually, the same place that she's getting the hats made, she got a handful of t-shirts made. And then she actually put them on the store and she shipped them, just like that. And she got me, they're actually pretty good shirts, because for me with a t-shirt, I can't stand a baggy collar. I do not wear a v-neck. I like a tight, not a tight, but I like a fitting t-shirt. But she got these ones made, and they fit. So I'm not wearing a t-shirt in here, but they're a fitting t-shirt. Check it out. She's got that on the back. She got a bunch of these made, a handful of them, and she shipped them off. But I'm like, well, are you sure you want to do that? The time and effort that's going to take, and how much it is for shipping, whole 9 yards? And she's like, well, she says, as long as I can get them to the people, she goes, I think I'm going to do it. I'm like, I don't care, whatever. So if you see these t-shirts on our own store front, that every item on that store is the order is taken in by Sarah, processed, shipped, packaged, and shipped. She does everything herself, and she's one of those perfectionist types too, right? So nothing gets missed, and there's a full-on receipt, like PayPal actually does, and we've got to get out of PayPal too. That's another thing I got to get her. Anyway, another item, you know my stance on them. But they actually send in the Inquirer to show proof that items were shipped and received every once in a while. So that's a good thing. But anyway, 100% of everybody received all their items through Sarah. It's just this other thing, this Teespring thing, makes me go grrr. And that email is real kind email compared to what I wanted to send, but Sarah's keeps an eye on me, luckily, right? So there you go, you guys. If you want one of these ones, she's got them, and she sells them She packages them and she ships them to you, and you get them within less than 2 weeks every time. So, except when she was away on holidays. So there you go. That's all I got to say on that one. Now, what else? What else? Totally unrelated, but I was daydreaming the other day. I get to think a lot when I'm out in the woods. I like thinking. I like trying to stay on top of myself. And I'm wondering if possibly, here's a possibility, because humans have a tough time accepting that we don't know everything, that we're not the best at everything. You know what I mean? That we're not the number one species on the face of the planet, right? And I just wonder if possibly, technology has just slapped us silly, right? Technology has increased so rapidly, it's mind-boggling, and slapped us silly. I'm wondering if the sad fact is we are just not advanced enough for the technology that we have at our disposal. I wonder if that's what's going on here, especially in North America, right? The items that people are arguing about and freaking out about and complaining about and fighting about, and it's just insanity. And I don't know what's causing it myself. It's bizarre to watch. All the greasy topics that mainstreams and is pushing on people, and you can't help but see the headers when you turn on whatever you got and you turn it on. You'll see all the headline scoops going down and what people are saying and arguing about. Somebody's getting pointed up for saying something absolute. It's just absolute insanity. And I was wondering when I was fishing, I'm like, what's going on, man? Like, what is going on in our society today? And I finally thought, maybe we just aren't quite advanced enough as a species. We are not quite responsible or intelligent enough for the technology that has been developed. We can't be. That's got to be the answer, isn't it? What's the answer for everybody being so absolutely loopy today? It's pretty weird, right? The crazy shit's going on. It has come to a head, and I wonder when. I'm 100% confident everything's going to come to a head while we are here during this lifetime, for certain. But I wonder what the outcome is going to be when it comes to a head, because it has to, right? We can't go on, society can't go on the way it is today. It just can't, it's not going to. So it's going to be interesting to watch what comes and what transpires, right? But anyway, let's get back into hearing some voices and some true knowledge from the real world that's going on around us that we have troubles wrapping our noggins around. Because we do. We have a tough time dealing, right? We have a tough time dealing. Unfortunately, we've had so much truth held from us that makes it even harder for us to deal, especially those innocent people who keep running into this, right? It's very common, and it's something that strikes home with me, and that's why I pursue the truth on this topic still today. Now listen to this. This is titled Part 2 and Much More. Mr. Steve Isdall, I offer you my sincere admiration for your work bringing the truth to us all. Now some truth to share with you and the club in a return. This is very long. Please feel free to use my name, Bill Pettigrew. I now live on the west coast of Florida. I'm 79, and I do not care who believes me or who does not. All right. Thank you, Mr. Free Man. Orbs. I'm an experienced psychic medium that has been given a bevy of gifts by Jesus, Lord and Master of our universe. He will frequently allow me to work with the archangels Michael and Raphael. I will relate to you an experience that I had many years ago in Florida. I was part of a spiritual team on the West Coast. A man came by asking for help with activity in his home. He related that he was seeing blue orbs at night inside his house. All right, we've had those in our house. Excuse me. He practiced astral projection and suspected that he brought several home with him accidentally. All right, this is out of my scoop. He took the experience as an invasion of sorts. Two of us agreed to come to his home the following evening to observe and to get to the bottom of things. I took it upon myself to establish a communication base with the orbs. I fed them our English alphabet and our numeric system so that if we could communicate, and then I could hope to understand. When we arrived after small talk, we went to his spare bedroom where the activity stemmed from. Three of us sat on the edge of his bed opposite the double sliding door closet. The left-hand door was cracked open a little over an inch, and the opening was emitting a black light. I began my silent psychic search for entities, and after 3 minutes or so, the light emitted from the closet. The light emitted from the closet turned gray. This shit, I'm not into this shit. I hate this crap, but I'll keep going. I just don't want anything to do with this sort of thing myself. I needed to go into the closet. I asked the two of them to leave, but to be within earshot. They sat down in the hallway, and I went in and sat against the left wall of the closet. I then pulled the door closed. I stated aloud my reason for being there, as I realized that it was already known. For 20 seconds or so, nothing happened. Then I noticed a small bluish light behind some clear plastic in the far left corner. It grew slowly to the size of a softball and moved out where I had a clear view of it. I held my hands out and asked it to come to me. With my hands about 2 feet apart, propped on my knees, the orb approached and increased in size to fit between my hands. The touch was a mild electrostatic feeling. The orb was now a swirl of shades of blue and white. I said hello, and he answered me softly in my mind with a smile and a nod. I said, "Do you have a name?" He said his name was Mar. I was stunned that we were actually communicating. I asked him what he was, and he said, "I am a portal." I said, "Do you bring others here through yourself?" He said, "Yes," and that others could see through him with great distances. I asked if there was someone looking at me now, and he said, "Yes," and they requested that you be allowed to see them. When Mar opened himself, off in the distance, looking at me, was a gray alien. We greeted each other with a nod. I admitted to being dazzled by this experience. I was stunned that we were actually communicating. I asked him what he was, and he said, "I'm a portal." And I said, "Do you bring others here through yourself?" And he said, "Yes," and that others could see through him from great distances. I asked if there was someone looking at me now, and he said, "Yes," and they requested that you be allowed to see them. When Mark opened himself, off in the distance, looking at me, was a gray alien. We greeted each other with a nod. I admit to being dazzled by this experience. Mar was a living being, and yet he became almost virtually invisible as I looked through him. Then I broached the subject of my visit. What was going on, and what was the purpose of the activity? I think Mar anticipated my question. Almost before I finished asking the question, he stated that his partner wanted to come out and meet me, and I agreed. So, from the same spot in the closet came another blue and white orb about the size of a tennis ball. It disappeared behind Mar and then came up on his left side. We greeted each other, and then Mar proceeded to answer my question. I listened and related to the host. They wanted to borrow his space for 6 days to come and go. They promised that no one would be hurt or harmed and that he had nothing to fear. I asked the host to answer in a clear and loud voice. He did give them permission. At that point, Mar told me to thank him and began to shrink back to about the size of an orange, and both thanked me for helping, and they disappeared into the corner. I opened the door and left the closet, still dumbfounded at what just happened. I told the host that he could call me anytime if things got out of control, and he was grinning from ear to ear. The host called me about 6 days into his adventure and said everything was going as promised, and he was fascinated by his visitors and was enjoying the show. Seems they came out of the closet and would come and go through his patio door glass or his kitchen window glass. I'm not saying that all orbs are portals because I don't know. I am saying that these two were. They were living entities with incomprehensible abilities. Since then I have closed and or moved larger swirling portals with my abilities. I seem to be able to direct them. The different colors of orbs may indicate different abilities or assignments. As a child, I saw many white orbs on the farm across the street from where I grew up. The white and blue orbs would come and watch my friends and I play in the woods and creek near where I lived, with the orange orbs hanging back like they were standing guard. I hope this is educational and useful information. All right, so that's, you know what, man? I mean, shit. The questions. Why would something so possibly skilled, have skills that we can't wrap our heads around, pick a closet in a house? Why? Who are these people that have the house? I don't know, maybe just bite my lip. I can shotgun a million billion questions at you, right? Obviously. Because just a bit much for your average brain to wrap around, right? Obviously, right? And there needs to be a whole lot more explained about this. Who are they? Where do they come from? You know, I'm not going to start, but I could rattle off a gazillion questions about that one. Now, the next part you have here is titled Bigfoot. I grew up near Elk Creek in northwest PA. My friends and me played in the woods all year round. I do not remember any negative or strange events in that time, except for the occasional smell of something dead. We never investigated those smells. My original event occurred in the spring of '79. I worked in a chemical plant in Ashtabula, Ohio. The Ashtabula, Ohio. The small crew would gather in the control room during the quiet times and BS about everything. One night, the discussion was about the steelhead run on the Conneaut Creek. The fish stocking had occurred 4 or 5 years previous, and it was time for the more mature fish to come upriver and spawn. Several days later, I decided to try and catch a steelhead, brown or rainbow trout. I parked at the playground and walked down to the small bluff that would put me in near the west branch of Conneaut Creek, Conneaut Creek. I caught the light scent of a skunk as I slid down the bluff. And at the creek edge, I felt the presence of another being. I didn't feel anything threatening, so I stopped thinking about it. There was a path alongside the creek that would take me upstream or down. The creek was low and crystal clear. I chose downstream, looking for deeper water pools. About 100 yards down the path, the bluff to my left closed in until it was 12 to 15 feet away. I heard shuffling in the bushes. Then I smelled an awful stink. I glanced to the left, and in my head I heard, "Don't stop, keep going." I turned around to go back the way I came, and the voice clearly and loudly said, "Not that way." I turned around and took a couple of steps while looking left. I was puzzled, but not fearful. I just wanted to get away from the smell. I momentarily saw the top of a large, black, hairy head down to the brow ridge. I could not see any ears. The being's head was slightly pointed and clearly not human or bear. The head was moving sideways, back and forth, as if the creature was nervous. Then the voice in my head said, "Go, don't stop." I obeyed while still feeling the strange humor of it all. The thought of it being a sabe never occurred to me. I still have no recollection of getting back to my car or driving home. In fact, this entire event was lost in my memory until I found your posts and listened to several others who had missing memories of encounters. Thank you for restoring that memory. Later in life, when I had more time to myself, I sat with a very famous psychic medium in Florida. She told me things about myself and my future that astonished me. As a medium, I've held sessions with more than 250 people at a time for charity events. My usual work is with 1 or 2 at a time and smaller groups, 12 to 15. This mission is to make people aware that life absolutely continues after death. My next 2 encounters came about because of sessions with people. One was an incredible young woman we will call Jane. Jane, I found out later, was part of a Bigfoot hunting group operating in western Ohio. I saw in my mind that Jane was staring at a Bigfoot no more than 8 feet away. Jane was 5'4", and she was looking at the sabe who was standing in the roadside ditch. The sabe was up to mid-thigh in the ditch and was still looking slightly down at her on the crown of the gravel road. The sabe had red eyes and let out a huge roar that put Jane on her tush. Jane got back to her feet and screamed at the sabe. They looked at each other for a few more seconds, and the sabe turned and walked back into the woods. Jane was surprised that I told her about that, but agreed that it was true. The next encounter came from a series of sessions I had in Mobile, Alabama. One of my clients, we'll call him Roy, that day was a leading professional in his field. He was a skeptic, but decided to give it a try. During that session, I saw through Roy's eyes that he was standing near a green fence in the backyard of some relatives in the Northwest. He was looking up at a sabe in the tree line that was staring back down at him. Roy was shocked, but not very fearful. Roy was 12 at the time, and the sabe went back into the woods. Roy went in the house and never told anyone of the event. Roy was looking at me after I told him what I saw and said he was astonished that I could recount that story for him. Excuse me. The next part of your email is titled Fear. I fear nothing from the spiritual world. I have powerful backup. Many things have tried to intimidate me, and it doesn't work out for them. Physical things can be scary. Humans with bad intentions are frightening to be near. Luckily, my gifts help me keep myself and my loved ones away from them. It is completely understandable for a person to feel fear when something like a 7 to 12 foot tall savvy appears unexpectedly right in front of them. I can relate. I was utterly stunned once in a 16-foot boat when a hammerhead shark came up alongside me that was at least as long as my boat. I hope that people would realize that they need to share their experiences as soon as possible with someone who can relate to their fear. The next part of the email is titled Hunting. Hunting has never worked out for me. It's not about my shooting skills. I used to shoot rats at the dump regularly. I became an excellent shooter. The first time I went hunting with my father was a frightening experience. He was leading the way. I walked into quicksand. He was struggling to free up his feet. I told him to hand me a shotgun. I opened over the breech and put the shells in my jacket, then extended the shotgun for him to grab. Then I pulled him out of the quicksand. It was difficult. His buckled boots were stuck forever. We went home. The next time I went hunting was in Florida with a friend in college. He had a very powerful crossbow and I had nothing. We staged ourselves inside the trees on the edge of a 50-foot round meadow. A huge wild bear walked into the meadow. The boar smelled us and turned towards us. My friend shot a bolt at the bear and hit it just above the eyes in the middle of its head. I could not have imagined a more perfect shot. I hoped that it was all over, but it was not. That bear charged towards us at full speed and ended up jumping to my right and ducking behind a tree. When my friend went the other way and hid behind another tree, the bear ran in very tight circles for about a minute and then collapsed. Oh shit, that's weird. It took me a long while to settle down. I'm all done with hunting. The next part of your email is titled More Mind Speak. I recently had an ongoing mind speak communication with a female forest person. I started in mid-August. It was a daily hello and smiles. One day we exchanged mental images of each other. She didn't share her name, so I started to call her Beautiful or Beauty, and she called me Otterman because I seemed playful. She told me about her son and how mischievous and full of energy he was, and I asked about her partner. She flashed an image to me of an 8 or 9 foot tall male. She also said his name and spelled it out. Jaed, like Jade. He had told her it was okay to converse with me. Early in September, we started talking about a face-to-face meeting. She wanted to wait until late September or early November. She knew the name of the months. That's odd. Toward the end of September, I warned her that a very bad storm was coming and it would likely devastate our area. I told her to head to high ground to the east. She said she would gather her family and several other tribes and come back when all was okay again. Sadly, I no longer heard from her. Feel free to read this online or use my name because I don't care who likes it or who doesn't. If I can be of help, all anyone has to do is reach out. All right. Well, as you know, if you know people and human beings, you know that your story is going to be one of those ones where everybody goes, what the F are you talking about, dude? Right? But what do we do? I mean, we're after the truth, right? You guys, we're after the truth. We have to hear it all. And obviously the truth is going to be stranger than, you know they say the truth is stranger than fiction? Our truth is going to be strange. I believe our truth is going to be so hard to wrap our noggins around. And there's people out there who can see and do things that we don't understand. The majority of us don't understand. We don't have any knowledge on these type of experiences. We don't have nothing, right? So just the same as people who hear from someone who saw a Sasquatch and they have absolute no knowledge whatsoever and all they've seen is a goofy TV show, they're gonna go, whatever, what are you smoking? Right? So for us people, even us people who have seen these beings in the forest, to hear from somebody like this person who relays what they just did without any previous knowledge like I don't have, we're going to be going, what the hell kind of crack pipe are you hanging off of? Right? So, to you, the original emailer, if you would, email me some more. You know, like just straight out of the top of my head, why would a gray alien be communicating with a human being in a closed closet inside a house? You know what I mean? if they have these special abilities and skills that we do not, why would they not show up in front of a camera when somebody's doing the news on a stage? Why do they show up on a football field and freak everybody out? A closet in a house? I don't get it. You know what I mean? I don't get it. There's a whole pile of shit I don't get, but it's emails like this that make me go, okay, come on. Throw me a bone. And I appreciate that you don't care if anybody believes you or not, because I carry myself the exact same way. But the amount of questions I could shotgun, I mean, it's like for all the people listening, it's like for you that have had this experience, say the Sasquatch being, you've seen a freaking Sasquatch, 8-foot tall hairy dude in the forest, right? And then you go tell somebody or a whole pile of people who got no knowledge about that being real. It's just a comic book thing or a movie commercial, funny commercial topic. How many of those people are gonna go, got a crack pipe, are you smoking, buddy? Right? And then it's the same for us who've had that reality slapped in our face, and we start digging, and we start asking questions. People start coming forward with stuff that makes us go, what? So we got a guy that says he's got a portal in a closet with a gray alien in there talking to him. The majority of us, even people that have seen a Sasquatch, are gonna go, get off the crack pipe, right? But the sad reality is, our reality is possibly, and I'm pretty sure it is, just too much for us to take in and handle, right? So we've got to expect, eventually we're going to have people sharing with us stuff that's just too much for us to handle, right? And then we've got to figure out what the hell to do next with that information, if you want to do anything with it at all. I mean, some of the questions I would ask, getting back to all right, you, sir, are communicating with these beings, the female Sasquatch even. For me, if I knew 100% I was speaking to somebody who was communicating with these beings, I'll guarantee you I'm not going to ask you about the weather. Probably the first thing that would come to my mind, whether it be any kind of an alien in a portal or mind speak, a Sasquatch, whatever, I guarantee you the first thing I'm going to ask is, where's all the people going? Who's taking the people? Who's taking the children? Where are the missing people going? Who's doing it? Why? I'm going to ask that first. Probably the next question I'm going to ask would be, why are you not just walking down the street among us? Why are you not just going to the mall and announcing your presence? Why are you staying hidden? Why? Why not? Why aren't you just showing up in front of the whole stadium at the Super Bowl game during halftime, where nobody can deny that you were there? Right in front of the cameras, the whole audience to say, okay, here we are, we're real, my name's so-and-so, and this is who we are, and what we've been doing all this time, and why we remain secret for the most part from the majority of society. Like, why? Why all the secrecy? Why the hiding? You know what I mean? There's so many whys. And there's a lot of people have come forward and say they communicate with these beings, but they're not asking them the questions. It's always the same thing. Who are you? What's your name? Where do you come from? Oh, hold on a minute. Why are you staying hidden? Where's all the people going that are going missing? Like the other day, Sarah, getting on the missing people thing, Sarah just brought attention to me. There was a woman in her 30s from here, Port Alberni. Apparently she went missing. Absolute experienced backpack camper, does it all the time, goes by herself, packs up her shit and goes on these parks and trails and camps. Well, she came out missing. They found her backpack. And I was thinking about that when I was fishing, steelhead fishing yesterday, because she just told me the night before. I'm like, man, that's some pretty powerful shit. We hear about missing people so often. I think we don't really pay too much attention. Like your average person goes, oh wow, holy cow, that was pretty shitty. And then off you go back to doing your regular routine. I was really picturing it yesterday, because it's right around here, in the forest, wherever she was. Imagine how weak you are. Imagine how brutal that must be to be taken away. I mean, this is for real. This isn't a movie script. This isn't just a story. People are being taken away. Nothing you can do about it, right? You can't even tell your family or friends you've been taken away. Nothing. There's your backpack flopped on the ground. They don't need it where they're taking you. What the F's going on? Right? Like, what the hell's going on, man? How is all these people just going missing in the middle of nowhere? Very skilled, experienced, A-type, confident people are going missing. Like nothing. Like they were just a dandelion in the garden and something came and grabbed it and picked it out of the garden. Nothing you can do about it but sit there and be taken. I was really picturing it happening. It was really, when I was in the timber, actually, that walk from the timber to the river, I was picturing it when I was in there. I was like, man, how is this going down? I wonder, how is it going down? And what is this going down? Are you just walking through the forest like I am right now? And then all of a sudden, boom, my backpack and my fishing rods are on the ground and I'm gone? Are you getting grabbed by the neck first? Wung around? Are you getting slapped into a tree and killed and then taken away? Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? There's a lot of questions out there just on that topic. So yeah, I'm just doing a little of a ramble here, but that is a definite question. I'd be asking if there was some entities or beings in a portal or a female Sasquatch mind speaking, whatever the hell's going on with many people here that are claiming to be in contact with these beings. Throw me a bone. Give me a direct answer to that question, and I hope that the majority of the people who claim to be in contact come up with the same answer before I share it publicly, and that'd be something. Patterns, right? Patterns. Anyway, emails back again with something else. Ask a pile of questions, like real good ones, real hardcore, solid questions of what the F's going on. See if you can get a solid answer, relay it to us, all right? I don't give a shit what they look like. I don't care what their names are. Not right now. I want to know what's up. I want to know why they're remaining secret and hidden, and I want to know what's happening to my neighbors. All right. Thank you for the email, man. Sorry if you guys went on a little bit of a rant there, but it's time. It's time we got some frickin' answers, all right? We got people going missing. We got children going missing. We got numerous people claiming to be in absolute contact, speaking back and forth with these beings, and I got shit for answers. I got nothing for the real hard, the big questions, right? I want some answers. I'm sure everybody else does too. Get moving along. Always keep the backup camera handy. These little blood suckers are getting thick. Nothing up here for them to chew on. Me. All right, who's next? What do we got? Who's gonna spill? 0.3 second, 40-yard dash, deadly speed. Dear Steve, preemptively, I should apologize for the length of this email. However, I should also say that it's important to get this out there. After seeing what I saw, it has changed how I see our world. Me too. Thanks for what you do and this collection of proof. There's no way all these hard-working North Americans are bullshit. Our collective minds are faith and are the truth. Governments don't live together. People do. J. Wales. Oh, sorry, that was a quote. Quote, governments don't live together, people do, end quote, J. Wales. My sighting happened in North Newton County, Texas, along the Sabine River. I've had several bizarre experiences at my family's land in nearby Jasper County, Texas, including methodical knocking that was as if it was triangulized, multiple things being thrown at her cabin, and my daughter having a sighting, where she absolutely saw what she said was a lion's head with cue ball-sized black eyes. I also have a pic that I can only describe as some type of something covered in hair with red eyes. This happened 40 miles to the north and east of my land. It was a rainy day in early April 2013. My buddy, I'll call him Whaler, wanted to go look at 90 acres along the Sabine River. Whaler is a 747 pilot for a large shipping company and keeps his business to himself. The quadrant of land that we looked at was tucked away behind 15,000 acres of paper mill land. This land doubles as a deer lease and is inaccessible by public road. This matters to the story because of the probability that it wasn't human. It is highly unlikely anybody was out there, no vehicle after hunting season. It also has 3 locked gates along the 8 miles of Kalechi and dirt roads. Kalechi and dirt roads. Caleachi, a word I'm not familiar with. The Sabine River is sizable and carries a lower as dark as its waters. Down here, country folks call them boogers. What I saw was more monster than anything else. I suppose they are some type of tribe like you and Mr. Pelagius have shared. They are incredibly strategic and disciplined. Whatever they are, I believe they may vary in looks, build, size, and color from place to place. The Sabine separates the great state of Texas and Louisiana. The bottoms are also as dense and dangerous as any jungle. It's filled with bald cypress, ironwood, yupon, stuck mud, aka quicksand, multiple oak varieties, and any kind of plant or vine that cuts, tears flesh, or creates an allergic reaction. There's alligator, copperhead, cottonmouth, and canebrake rattlesnakes and coral snakes that inhabit the drier and more elevated pine forests that surround East Texas river bottoms. If possible, it's possible that the creatures have evolved to adapt to our subtropical climate. Southeast Texas averages 58 to 70 inches of rainfall a year. In 2017, during Hurricane Harvey, we experienced 58 inches in 3 days. The point is, I believe they spend copious amounts of time in the water. There are reports of people seeing them swimming just under the surface of the water in nearby Rayburn and Toledo Bend reservoirs. And with temperatures reaching over 100 degrees regularly and 95% humidity, it would make sense to me that they are along the waterways here in the south. You would think that their lungs can hold massive amounts of oxygen and thus can stay submerged for long periods of time. Things I've thought about, but I digress. Back to the sighting. There's a squeaky toy being chewed on out there if you hear something weird. So that day, Whaler and me had walked most of the 90 acres. Just before dusk, we headed to his 4x4 Dodge Dually. We parked 400 yards down from the Kalechi Road that we came down to get to the land. Kalechi Road? We hop in the truck, head back up graded ranch road that teed into the rock road. As we turned right onto the road, his headlights leveled out and the overhead KC light beams illuminated movement. The movement was what we believe to be a man running incredibly fast from left to right. When I say fast, this is an understatement. This tall man was caught out in the open about 40 yards from some light brush and close to an abandoned deer lease shack. The grass he was running through came up to just past his knees. I believed it was a really, really tall, lean, and really fast. He was dressed in all black and a black hoodie. It was so smooth, as if it was floating. He was running up a holler and disappeared into the tree line. There's no reference for what we saw. My mind, for lack of better words, was spinning and confused. It's like some kind of a shock. Whaler looks at me and says, "I don't want to buy property where a bunch of crackheads are running around out in the woods." I shook my head and didn't say a word. Neither of us said a word for 10 minutes. We got to the first gate, unlocked it. He shouted as I was fiddling with the combo lock, "Get in, we're going back." I hopped back into the truck. At this point, he was wild-eyed and explained, "We gotta go back." I just nodded my head and we turned around to take a look at what, I don't know. Then the adrenaline swirled around in the truck cab at what we just saw. We started to talk about what we just witnessed, and I exclaimed, "A crackhead?" And we both died laughing. We started brainstorming the situation. We came up with the following facts. There was no vehicle to be seen, the absolute remoteness of this location, the black cone-shaped head, and we both were in awe of the speed of this whatever. So back at the location of the sighting, I walked out to where I first saw it. The knee-high grass was actually up to my waist. At one point, it ran behind the shack before running out of sight, and its head was close to the top of the dilapidated structure. I estimated the height of the shack to be 8.5 feet high. We estimated the distance of the run that he made was 40 to 60 yards. This creature covered that distance in about 3 seconds. That's freaking fast, dude. What we saw will always stay with me. Thank God he was there, so I know it really happened. It's like a dream sequence or something. I called him from time to time just to go through the facts of what he saw. There's really no reference in my head for what my brain saw. It changed how I view our world. Steve, I can't really explain the absolute speed of this thing. It's scary. The fear comes from, as a former Marine, I think about reaction time. How, if I wasn't at the ready, with a weapon already pointing in the direction of this thing, I'd never have a chance to get rounds down range. If I was ever in a conflict with these beings, it was big, but more like an NBA player, lean, athletic, and shredded. Again, thank you for having the balls to say what you mean and mean what you say. Sincerely, Tom C. I hesitate sending my image because you're right, pics are pics. I didn't know I had photographed the thing at my land as it was pitch dark. I only saw it later as I went through the photos. That's it. That's a hell of an email, man. That's a share that I absolutely appreciate. No different than all the shares that I appreciate and we all appreciate. I always say this to everybody when they have somebody who's with them, when they've seen something, you're probably going to want to forward this video to your partner just so he knows there's a shit pile of us out here that know exactly what you guys saw, right? And welcome to the club of no return. Right? Welcome to the club. It's a frickin' big one. The speed. People I know personally have witnessed the speed, and every single person says the same thing. It's one of the first things that come out of their mouth and they emphasize on. And that's what I said in the past is, when people tell you their experience, their story, it's the most profound, the most shocking detail of their experience is what they usually speak of first and with more emphasis and what they repeat, right? And all the people that I know firsthand who witnessed the speed, they always say, man, it was so fast. It scared the shit out of me how fast that thing went. Like, it was so fast, right? They don't go, man, his feet were so big. He just had the biggest feet, you know? It's always, you know, other people have just seen the size. It was huge. It was freaking huge, right? They always say, well, it had some really interesting hair patterns to its hair. Said nobody. It's always what freaks you out the most. It was freaking huge. It was so fast, right? Patterns in the story is being relayed. Yeah, the pictures are pictures, like you're right, pictures are pictures for me, but just because it's just me, and I don't expect anybody to think the way I think, or believe what I believe, or have the same attitude as me. It's just me, man, and I cannot speak for everyone here, so, as you know, everybody's probably going to be screaming at the screen right now, share the damn pitch, share the picture, right? So, me, I'm good. I don't care either way. You want to share it? Cool. If not, whatever. It's not going to change anything for me, whether anybody shares a photo or not. I've seen them. But for the sake of subscribers here and everybody watching, which is going to be tens of thousands of people, they're all going to be screaming at you saying, share the damn picture. So, there you go. Do what you will, man. If you want to share the photo with everybody through me, give her. I'll post it up, all right? I'll post it up. Yeah, I've been down there. Not East Texas, Southern Texas. And I remember one thing that I wasn't familiar with was all the different padlocks. There'd be so many different padlocks on one gate. I'm like, what the hell's going on here, man? And I guess what it is the different members or different driveways that offshoot different roads, I guess, right? So everybody would have a different lock to get in the main gate. And then after that, you've got another gate where your other lock would be, right? Pretty sure I'm right. Anyway, what else do we got? And maybe we'll see, I'm not sure what kind of time I'm going to have editing this video, but like I said earlier, I just might put some cool looking scenes in between each email as I share them of things that I've seen and places I've gone. I think. So if I am, check this out. I came up and over a pass, kind of like that one in the background, in the top left corner. I'm a little sweaty. What cool is this? Are you kidding me? Oh man, that is a one. That looks like an old ram right there. I didn't even notice that guy. I think we're gonna look a little closer yet maybe and see if we can get some more better footage of this camera. How's that for a shot? Oh, you heard me. All right, here's another one, Mark. This is red. This is titled, Did I See a Ghost in the Woods? I'm not sure what it was. It's the title of this email. Resent. Steve, I had an unusual experience while archery deer hunting in southwest Michigan around the year 2003. I was sitting in a tree stand overlooking a trail in a large wooded area. I thought that I heard someone walking in the leaves from time to time. When I heard the noise, I was looking to see what or who it was. I saw nothing. It sure did sound like a person was walking nearby though. After a while, I thought it sounds like the sound was very close, nearly right in front of me. I looked and saw the leaves moving like someone was walking on them. The leaves appeared to be pressed down under the weight of something, such as someone walking on the leaves. I also heard the sound of someone walking on the leaves, however, I saw no one. From what I recall, it sounded to me like whatever it was passed through the area and then that sound was gone. I stayed in the tree stand and continued to hunt until a break for lunch. What I heard and saw that day is an unexplained mystery to me. Did I see a ghost in the woods? I'm not sure what it was. I was wondering if you or any of the people watching videos on your channel have had a similar experience. Thank you for your time. Kevin Schneider, Benton Harbor, Michigan. Yeah, dude, tons of people have had the same experience. Shit piles. We've had people sitting in a tree stand and something spat on the back of their neck and breathed on them, and they didn't see what it was, right? Then again, you got tons of people sitting in tree stands and they see the thing, they're walking by, and it looks at them, gives them a dirty look, like they want to kill them. But there's been so many people have heard something walking right in front of them, or between them and their dad hunting, or whoever, whatever, and they don't see shit. What's up with that, right? Can't help but laugh at that stupid dog with his squeaky toy. Out there, yeah, there you go, man. Tons and tons and tons of people have had that exact same experience. And a lot of people have that experience with a lot more attached to it, right? But anyway, you know, I am somewhat getting closer to possibly, I'm just gonna go out there and get it done, maybe, and go get some direct answers for myself. Nobody seems to be able to answer the questions, right? It's getting a little frustrating. I mean, things are somewhat repetitive, but they have to be because it's truth, right? But I have to get everybody heard. That's what I have to do. And we're gonna have a lot of repeating patterns, and that's what we're getting. We're getting a shit pile of patterns, right? And that holds water. But I'm thinking, I don't know, we'll see. I mean, when I picture myself going out there to say, all right, let me have it. Let's get it on. Here I am, I'm unarmed. I'll go up in the middle of frickin' nowhere by myself and I'll hang out and wait. You want to bring it to me? Maybe I'll do it. I think I might. I'm close to being able to possibly, I'll give in and do it. And I don't need anybody to tell me. I don't need anybody to suggest to me. I already know, and I've known for a long time, because I've told lots of people lots of times, if you want to see one of these beings, I know where you got to go, and I know what you got to do, and it'll probably happen. So, and that is, you go deep into the heart of it, by yourself, unarmed, by yourself, and just hang out and let them know. Speak out loud, do whatever you got to do. I'm here. Let's have this meeting. Maybe I should. Maybe I should. But then, you hear about the people going missing. And like I said, when you really think about it, really picture it, right? Picture it. We don't know what the hell's going on. Are these human beings getting picked up by the neck, possibly getting their neck broken in half while they're swung into a tree and killed and then disappeared? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying Sasquatch beings are taking people, but a lot of people think they are. Dave Plies doesn't think so. And he knows a lot. What's taking the people? You know what I mean? I want to find out what's taking the frickin' people. Do these beings have the answer? Would they be willing to talk to some asshole like me if I finally said, because let's face it, I haven't been too kind with my words over the years when I'm hunting by myself. I haven't been so friendly and kind. I've been about as vulgar as your average lifelong construction worker hunting guide's mouth can be when I'm talking to them out loud in the past. And I'm saying, you come near me up and so-and-so, I'll put up and hole in your head, leave me the up alone, blah, blah, blah. Probably talking out of being scared, right? But now it's more of a respectful, all right, you know what? I know you're here. You know I'm here. Just leave each other alone. I don't want shit to do with you guys at all. I don't need to prove your existence. I'm not after no nothing. Just leave me alone. Don't ruin it for me. And that's been my demeanor for maybe the last half a dozen years or so. I don't know. I've heard enough now. The patterns are clear when it comes to these beings. The patterns are there, right? And the patterns are nobody's getting swung and slapped into the side of a tree and getting their head popped off that we know of. So maybe I should just do it. Maybe I should just suck it up, go do it. I know where to go. I know where they are. 110% I know where they are, where they usually are. But would they give me the answers? Right? Picture it, you guys. Picture doing that. Picture doing it. You see other people in the past, maybe on a video or whatever, a stupid television show, and there'd be a shit pile of them and all in a group and lights and night vision. And it's the security of a vehicle not too far away, or all of them in a group. You don't ever see any of these people going off by themselves with nothing in the middle of nowhere, laying on the ground, right? For how many days? Nobody does that shit. Maybe I should do it. Unless one of you people who claims to have direct communication gives us some solid frickin' answers to some of these serious mysteries that we need answers for. Where are the people going? What's with the secrecy? Why are you hiding? Here's some simple questions. Maybe we get some answers here pretty quick. Maybe, right? Wouldn't that be great if the majority of the people who claim to be in contact came up with the same answer, and before I shared any of the answers online? Now that would be an eyeball popper, right? It's like, a lot of people have claimed, I've had a handful of people tell me that they have a name for me, and not one person has told me the same name. All the people who claimed that to be in contact with these beings, they mentioned me, they've said who my name is to them, and told me what they refer to me as, and not one of these people has had the same name. So that's not a pattern, right? But anyway, I'm babbling. I got to get going. I got shit to do, and I'm ready now. I'm ready to get some answers. I'm going to keep on sharing people's emails until I get them all shared. But I think I'm ready. Not getting any younger, right? Shit's not changing fast enough for me. I want some frickin' answers. I want them. I'm ready. So maybe I will take one for the team, and I'll go do it. Maybe I'll say, all right, I'm here. Let's just do this. Let's get it over with and do it. Because, for a long time, I've always known it's coming. It's coming. My face-to-face is coming again. There's no way it's not. I just don't know when or where. That there's no way I'm not going to have another experience like that or more intense. There's no way. There's no way. It's coming. I've always known it's coming. There's no way out of it because I keep going, right? I keep going to where all the shit goes down. Almost like I've been making a statement for myself and to whoever it is or whatever it is. But I've heard from so many people now. So many lives have been affected, and nobody's getting any. We're getting answers, but there's no patterns to the answers, and there's a lot of answers that we're not getting direct answers for. I want them. Anyways, I'm gonna go. I'm babbling too much. I'm not sure if I shared a bunch of adventure clips or not, but if I did, I hope you enjoyed them. And don't forget the Teespring thing is 100% out of our control, but I'm on their asses right now. And Sarah has these kind of t-shirts that she's willing to hand package and ship off to you guys herself. So you can look into that on the store, wherever it is, on the How to Hunt store, howtohuntstore.com. She's got it all going on there, and I'll see if I can keep my shit-eating attitude going long enough to make myself just go up into the mountains and get this done and get it over with and get the damn answers. Be back shortly.
Steve, can you show me how Bigfoot runs?
Sasquatch runs like this.